Hey everyone, before we jump into this crazy story, smash that like button if you've ever felt completely blindsided. And if you love hearing tales of karma, hit subscribe. You won't regret it. Trust me. It all started, like so many relationship disasters, with a slow burn. Me, Sarah, and my husband, Mark. We'd been together for, well, a ridiculously long time. Met in college, built a life together. We had the white picket fence dream, the whole 9 yards. Except, the white picket fence was actually a beautiful, sprawling craftsman-style house we'd poured our hearts into. Our dream home. 2 kids, a dog that shed like it was a full-time job, and a mortgage. The works. Mark, on the surface, was a good guy. Charming, successful, and, let's just say, he had a way with words. He was in sales, which probably contributed to it. He could sell ice to an Eskimo. And he'd used that gift to, well, to sell me on the idea of our perfect life. Or so I thought. I remember the first time I met him. It was at a campus mixer. He was across the room, laughing with a group of people, his eyes sparkling. He had this effortless charisma, this ability to draw people in. I was instantly intrigued. He approached me, a drink in hand, and the conversation flowed like we'd known each other for years. He was intelligent, funny, and genuinely interested in getting to know me. He told me about his dreams, his aspirations, and the kind of life he envisioned. He painted a picture of a future together, a future I found myself wanting. We spent the next few years building that future. Graduation, a modest apartment, then a better one. Jobs, promotions, and finally, the house. The Craftsman. It was a fixer-upper, a diamond in the rough. We spent weekends tearing down wallpaper, painting walls, and planting flowers. We made it our own, a testament to our love and commitment. We built it together, brick by brick. We built a family. The kids, Emily and Ben, were the center of our universe. Their laughter filled the house, their drawings adorned the fridge, and their messy toys littered the floors. Every moment, every memory, revolved around them. We read them bedtime stories, cheered them on at soccer games, and celebrated every milestone. We had a routine, a comfortable rhythm. Dinner, homework, the kids' bedtime stories, and then, mostly separate evenings. He'd be glued to his laptop, working, and I'd be catching up on laundry, or trying to find a moment of peace with a book. Looking back, that's probably where the cracks started to show. The evenings we weren't actually together were a bit too frequent. But I chalked it up to the stresses of his job. His work had always been demanding. The long hours, the travel, the constant pressure to meet quotas. I understood. I supported him, always. I knew that his success was our success, that his hard work allowed us to provide for our family. But looking back, I now see that it also allowed him to create a separate life, a life I wasn't a part of. Then came the whispers. First, from a gossipy colleague at a work social. She dropped little hints, little asides about seeing Mark, with someone else. Someone, younger. At first, I dismissed it. Jealousy, probably. Office politics. But the whispers grew louder, and they were accompanied by a subtle shift in Mark's behavior. He was less present, more distant. His phone started to become his constant companion, glued to his hand like an extra limb. Password protected, of course. He'd leave the room to take calls. Every single time. I remember the colleague's words, now burned into my memory. "Oh, Sarah, I saw Mark at the restaurant downtown the other night. With, well, you wouldn't believe it." I brushed it off. Laughed it off. But the seed of doubt had been planted. It began to take root in my mind, slowly poisoning everything. I was drowning in a sea of unspoken anxieties, of fear. I started seeing him as a stranger I used to know, a man who had once known my deepest feelings, and now, well, now what? I just felt like I didn't know anymore. The simple act of him walking into the room was now a loaded event. I'd watch him, studying his face, searching for any sign, any clue. I'd analyze every word, every gesture, every glance. I'd dissect the silences. My imagination, once a source of creativity, now worked against me, conjuring up scenarios of betrayal and deceit. I'd lie awake at night, my heart pounding, staring at the ceiling, the shadows dancing across the room. I'd replay our conversations, searching for the hidden meanings, the coded messages I had somehow missed. I'd pick apart every date night, every weekend getaway, every shared moment, trying to determine when the change had begun. When did our paths diverge? When did he start living a double life? One Tuesday, while he was supposedly working late at the office, I found a credit card statement. It was hidden amongst the bills, tucked away like a guilty secret. A recurring charge. A boutique hotel, downtown. A ridiculously expensive one. I googled the hotel. Luxury. Spa treatments. Romantic dinners. I felt the blood drain from my face. The hotel's website was a symphony of indulgence, plush rooms, gourmet restaurants, couples massages, and private balconies overlooking the city. I imagined him there, with her. I saw them laughing, holding hands, sharing intimate moments. The images filled my head, like a series of cinematic cuts, each one a stab wound to my heart. That was it. The dam broke. I'd been clinging to the hope that I was wrong, that it was just work-related, that I was imagining things. But there it was, staring me in the face. Proof. Concrete, expensive proof. I confronted him the next morning. The air in the kitchen was thick with unspoken tension as I handed him the credit card statement. His face, it was a masterpiece of controlled panic, I tell you. He stammered, he stuttered, he tried to deny it. He tried to explain it away as a business expense. I watched the lies form on his lips. I remember the way the sunlight streamed through the kitchen window, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. The smell of coffee, which was usually comforting, now made me want to retch. The kids were at the table, eating their cereal, oblivious to the world-altering drama unfolding before their eyes. They were excited for school. Emily chattered on about her art project. Ben showed off his new superhero action figure. I wanted to scream, to stop time, to shield them from the impending heartbreak. Then, finally, he cracked. The truth spilled out, ugly and raw. There was another woman. Her name was Jessica. She was younger. A colleague at his office. He'd been seeing her for months. Years, even. He admitted it all. He was in love. Or at least, he thought he was. The words echoed in my ears, each syllable a punch to the gut. Another woman. The phrase, so simple, so devastating, obliterated everything I thought I knew. The foundation of my life, our lives, crumbled. I was numb. I honestly don't remember much of the conversation after that. A blur of accusations and justifications and broken promises. I just remember wanting to scream, to claw at something, to destroy everything. I remember the raw, visceral pain. It was a physical thing, a weight in my chest that made it difficult to breathe. My head was spinning, my vision blurred. It was like being caught in a hurricane, tossed and turned by the relentless winds of shock and disbelief. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of lawyers, paperwork, and the agonizing process of separation. The kids, bless their hearts, were confused and scared. The house, our beautiful house, became a battleground. I recall the day I told the kids. It was the hardest thing I have ever had to do. Their faces, so full of innocence and trust, reflected my own pain. Emily, the more sensitive of the two, started crying immediately, burying her face in my arms. Ben, ever the pragmatist, asked a barrage of questions. Where's Daddy going to live? Are we still going to go to the park? Can I still have my toys? We'll be okay, I had promised, my voice cracking with unshed tears. We'll figure it out. We'll always be a family. But even as I said the words, I knew that our family had been irrevocably altered. And then came the ultimate betrayal. Mark, in his infinite wisdom and greed, decided to sell the house. Without even asking me. He forged my signature on the paperwork. A blatant, illegal act. Apparently, his mistress needed a place to live, and our house, with its huge mortgage, was the perfect financial sacrifice. The house. Our home. It represented everything we had built, everything we had shared. It was the place where we had raised our children, where we had celebrated birthdays, holidays, and countless other milestones. It was filled with memories, with love, with the echoes of laughter and shared moments. To lose it was to lose a part of myself. I was devastated. Not just because I was losing my home, but because of the utter lack of respect. He didn't care about our history, our memories, our family. He cared only about his new relationship, his new life. And I was supposed to just disappear. The betrayal cut deeper than any infidelity ever could. It was a complete and utter disregard for our life together. It was a declaration that he had erased me from the equation. I was nothing. But I wasn't going to go quietly. Oh no. Not after all this. I sat with my lawyer, listening to the legal options, the potential outcomes. I felt a flicker of determination, a spark of rebellion. I refused to be a victim. I refused to let him win. I decided I wanted to make him pay. And not just in a legal sense. I wanted to make him feel. And I wanted to make him realize the gravity of his actions, the pain that he had caused. It took a few months, but I got my ducks in a row. First, I engaged a lawyer specializing in real estate fraud. Turns out, forging a signature is a big no-no. We got the sale of the house tied up in court for a while, which was fun. Meanwhile, I started putting my plan into motion. This is where the Reddit revenge part comes in. My legal team, a group of sharp, determined women, worked tirelessly to untangle the mess Mark had created. They were on my side, fighting for my rights. They gave me strength when I felt weak, and they reminded me that I was not alone. It wasn't about grand gestures. It was about subtle, precise, infuriating actions. It was about making him regret everything. First, I made a fake profile on a popular dating app. I knew he'd be back on the market eventually. I used a picture of a stunning woman, with a name that was, let's just say, similar to Jessica's. We'll call her Jessie. I gave Jessie a detailed profile with a lot of her interests. Hiking. The same favorite restaurant. The same, unusual taste in music. The photo was of a model, someone I had found online. She embodied the kind of woman I knew Mark would be attracted to. Confident, beautiful, independent. I studied the photos, analyzing her features, her expressions, her posture. I wanted her to be convincing, to feel real. The profile was a work of art, crafted with precision and detail. I included all the things that Mark found attractive, all the interests he knew Jessica had. Hiking in the mountains, exploring new restaurants, listening to obscure indie bands. It was a bait, designed to lure him in. I waited. Within a week, Mark had swiped right. I was getting updates from my very patient and tech-savvy friend, who was the one actually managing the profile. Mark was hooked. He messaged Jessie constantly. Compliments. Promises. The works. He was desperate to impress this new Jessica. Which, of course, was going to be impossible. The messages started innocently enough, with polite greetings and casual conversation. But as time went on, they became more frequent, more flirtatious, more revealing. My friend, acting as Jessie, was a master of the art of seduction. She mirrored his language, his interests, his desires. She was everything he wanted, everything he thought he had lost. Then, the execution began. My friend started the conversation with a few friendly opening lines. Slowly, the Jessie profile started dropping little hints about her ex and his terrible actions. Jessie would then share that he had stolen her heart and then broke it, or used her. He would take and take. My friend had an uncanny ability to mimic the way he would treat Jessica, so he would fall for the same tactics. Slowly but surely, my friend had Mark completely wrapped around her finger. She was building up to the eventual revelation. Mark was really invested in this new Jessica by this time. He was already making plans, talking about a future, dreaming of a fresh start. The real fun started when Jessie started to forget things. She would casually mention things she had previously forgotten. Her ex-husband, for example, had a very expensive car, a limited edition sports car. She would ask Mark if he could buy her one too. A big hint. I also started going to his favorite places. That Italian restaurant he loved. The little bookstore he used to frequent. Every time, I'd make sure to be impeccably dressed, looking my best, and just there. I'd make a point of catching his eye, smiling sweetly, and then, the real kicker, I'd be with another man. A genuinely nice man. A friend of mine from the gym, who knew the whole story. He was more than happy to play along. He would treat me like a queen. Hugs, kisses, holding hands. It was glorious to see the look on Mark's face. The car idea was only a drop in the bucket. He wanted to treat this Jessie well. She deserved the world, so he thought. I reveled in the details. The scent of the Italian restaurant, the warmth of the lighting, the murmuring conversations. The way Mark's eyes would widen when he saw me, the subtle tightening of his jaw. The genuine, carefree laughter between my friend and me, the intimate touches, the shared glances. My friend from the gym was an excellent actor. He was tall, handsome, and genuinely kind. He understood the game, and he played it with precision. He held my hand, brushed the hair from my face, and whispered sweet nothings in my ear. He knew the story, and he treated me like the queen I deserved to be. The reactions were priceless. It was in the small details. The tightening of his jaw when he'd see me out with another man. The way he'd try to catch my eye, and when he couldn't, he would retreat to a corner in the restaurant and drink alone. The slight tremble of his hand as he'd bring the drink to his lips. After a few weeks of this, I let the hammer fall. Jessie sent Mark a picture of us, my friend and me, laughing together at a cafe. And then, the truth. A long, detailed message. A story about a woman scorned, a life ruined. She told him everything. Every single detail about his affair, about the forged signature, about the utter destruction he had wrought. She revealed that she was me, and that the entire Jesse profile was, in fact, revenge. The final act of rebellion. I would have loved to have seen his face when he read it. And then, she blocked him. The message was carefully crafted, the words chosen with meticulous precision. It was a summary of his betrayal, a chronicle of his sins. It was a mirror held up to his face, reflecting the ugliness of his actions. The fallout was immediate and spectacular. He was furious, of course. He tried to call me, to text me, to explain himself. I ignored him. He went to Jessica. She was furious too. Turns out, Mark had been stringing her along, promising her the world. It had all come crumbling down around him, all the false promises. The truth was out for the world to see. I got the reports of his reaction, relayed to me by my friend. He was frantic, desperate, his carefully constructed world crumbling around him. The realization of how he had been played. The humiliation of his mistakes. He lost her. He lost our house, which was tied up in court. He lost a significant amount of money with legal fees. He lost his reputation. And most importantly, he lost everything. All because of his greed, his ego, and his utter lack of respect. It was a perfect storm of ruin. He had lied and cheated, and he now had to face the consequences. It took a long time to truly recover, to rebuild my life. The legal battles continued for months, but eventually, justice was served. I got a portion of the house back. We got a new home. The kids are thriving. The legal battles were long, drawn-out affairs. Each meeting, each hearing, brought with it a fresh wave of emotions. Frustration, anger, sadness. But with each victory, with each step forward, I felt a renewed sense of empowerment. We found a new home, a smaller, cozier place that was ours. It wasn't perfect, but it was filled with love and laughter. The kids adapted, finding new friends, new routines. They blossomed, their resilience a constant source of inspiration. But the best part? I felt a sense of closure I never thought I'd achieve. I had turned the tables. I had won. He hadn't destroyed me. He'd only made me stronger. I didn't seek revenge for the sake of revenge. It wasn't about causing pain. It was about reclaiming my power, about taking control of my narrative. It was about showing him that he couldn't simply erase me from his life. Now, I'm in a much better place. I'm with someone who loves and respects me. I am surrounded by a community of good people. And I've rebuilt my life, brick by brick. It's not perfect, but it's mine. And I built it myself. The man I'm with now is the polar opposite of Mark. He is kind, supportive, and treats me with unwavering respect. He is my rock, my confidant, my lover. He reminds me every day that I am worthy of love and happiness. I reconnected with old friends, built new relationships, and pursued my passions. I rediscovered the joy in the simple things, reading, gardening, spending time with my children. I embraced life with open arms, savoring every moment, cherishing every connection. So yeah, that's the story. Karma can be a real bitch. But it can also be incredibly satisfying. What do you think? Am I the asshole? Let me know in the comments below. Have you ever gotten revenge on someone? Tell me your story. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales of justice. See you in the next one.